Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 97 of the Shadow Kvlt podcast. And yes, smaller roster of people for this week. It's just myself, James, and Ricky this week, as Scott and Walter, they're
What's up,
taking
people?
care of stuff. But what's up, peeps?
What's up, motherfuckers? To all our peeps.
Motherfuckers. I'm shocked I still have a voice.
If you hear us.
I know, I'm shocked your voice is still up. Like, I told you the last time, I was like, your voice is going to be cracking up the morning after.
Hey guys, play some baseball.
Or better yet, fucking Thursday night, I went absolutely ham with Terry Funk impressions. God.
Oh, yeah, you did. That's how I was like.
What the hell's going on out here?
I'll tell you exactly what the hell is going on here. We got a 97th episode of something called the Shadow Kvlt. What the hell is a Shadow Kvlt? Is that a cult of lambs? I don't know.
It's a cult of shadows.
What's a Shadow Kvlt?
Oh God, Krusty's back.
Oh, God.
Krusty, what the fuck are you doing here? We're not even at that part.
What the? Anyway, what's the topic this week?
Yes, so...
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
I
Do you think you know
what
us?
the hell?
You know what? There was something about episode 97 of Shadow Kvlt.
Oh God, Boomhauer's now here.
I don't want to tell you what I tell you. 97 culture,
For God's sake, Hank, act like an adult. And keep it down, will you please? I am trying to find a deal on vintage Camaros, and I've been stuck on the same damn
Here we
page
get
for
to
20
the
minutes.
episode already, jackass.
So, episode 97 of the Shadow Kvlt podcast is an episode I was wanting to do a while back, or I've been wanting to do for a while, because just randomly one day I decided to watch a bunch of old episodes of Raw in 2004 and 2005, and was mostly paying attention to Edge during this time period. So this episode is going to all be about Edge's road to the WWE Championship for his first reign, and we'll talk about the first reign since it wasn't long at all.
No,
So-
it was what?
Coffee,
Yeah, cup of coffee. So we're going basically from...
3 weeks-ish.
Yeah, so we're going from March 2004 through January 2006. This time frame from the moment he returned through when he lost the belt. But I think before we get there, we got to talk a little bit about what happened with Edge prior to coming back. Well, let's rewind to September 2002, where we get a no DQ match on SmackDown between Edge and Eddie Guerrero. And during the match,
One of
they
the best
do...
matches in SmackDown history, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That match was
and-
phenomenal.
And at one point in the match, Edge takes a flat back bump on a ladder. And Edge said in like the documentary and interviews since, he heard a crack, thought it was the ladder. Nope, it was his neck. And then takes a sunset flip powerbomb spot, which did a lot of damage. And even after that, he kept wrestling for the next few months.
Had some amazing matches. The tag matches with him and Mysterio versus Angle and Benoit were fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah, they were so good. The SmackDown 6.
Hell, him and Brock were having some good matches on house shows and UK-only events for the WWE title during this time.
Can you imagine Edge right now with current Brock Lesnar?
They probably
That would be
have a
amazing.
good match. That'd be a fun one to watch for sure.
I mean, Edge was on the push of a lifetime because you got to remember, this was Edge finally as a singles on his own without Christian being associated, and he was starting to become a main event level player on SmackDown.
Yeah,
2003 starts, and he's really in that mix heading into No Way Out. He's going to be in one of the biggest matches on that card. Brock and Benoit versus Team Angle. But then numbness starts in his arms. And when that happens, and you have a neck injury, you're going under the knife. So they write him off at No Way Out 2003, and he ends up having neck surgery and he's going to be out for the next year plus. Misses 2 WrestleManias.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So now that leads us to when he came back, which begins the story here. So March 22nd, 2004, over a week after WrestleMania 20, Edge makes his on-screen return to the company during the 2004 draft lottery, officially drafted to Raw, and immediately, to maintain his babyface status, spears Eric Bischoff right out of the gate. Which was a cool moment for that. Probably one of the better moments on that draft episode, along with the Paul Heyman shit and Triple H spitting after he finds out he's going to SmackDown.
Guerrero and Triple H had a WWE title match on that show.
Yep. That a lot of people don't remember. Not long after this return, though, Edge would actually suffer an injured hand, having to wear a cast for about a month. But after the whole Bischoff thing, it leads to his first pay-per-view match back, and that would be at Backlash 2004, where he would face Kane. And they had an alright match for his return, and Edge would defeat Kane that night in his home country of Canada.
Blame Canada. Blame Canada.
They're not even a real country anyway.
Yeah, we love Canada. To all the Canadian fans of the Shadow Kvlt, we love you.
Yeah, we just can't ignore South Park because it's just too good. Or at least back then, South Park was fun.
Or when Sean was like, "You got some fellow Canadians."
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. You're jumping ahead, Ricky. Bad boy.
Bad.
I've been a bad boy with the Kid Alliance.
Hey. Bonk. Horny police. Bonk on the head. Bad Ricky.
Ricky, I sentence you to 2 minutes of silence.
Anyway, focus.
So back on track. So the next night,
jackass.
So the next night on Raw, Edge's next program would start, and that's an on and off program with everybody in Evolution. And on the following night's Raw, Edge would team up with then World Heavyweight Champion Chris Benoit to face Ric Flair and Batista of Evolution for the World Tag Team Championships and win the Tag Team Championships in what was actually one of the most underrated matches in Raw history. Really good tag match between these two. And Benoit and Edge would be tag champions, at least for the next 6 weeks, as this title reign was very short-lived, as they would lose the belts to La Resistance, Robert Conway and Sylvain Grenier, on the May 31st episode of Raw. And the two would get a rematch against La Resistance at Bad Blood 2004, and they would win by disqualification, not getting the belts.
Whoa.
But throughout the first part of the summer of 2004, Edge and Benoit were still pretty much together for the most part, but they were just doing their own thing. And then, in the meantime, Edge's next program started on the June 21st episode of Raw, where after The Rock comes out and is then confronted by then Intercontinental Champion Randy Orton, Rock tells Orton there's a surprise behind him, and another spear from Edge, thus beginning a feud between Edge and Orton. 2 weeks later, on the July 5th, 2004 episode of Raw, probably one of Edge's best promo segments during this time took place, where he came out and confronted Triple H, basically telling him that Evolution's days are numbered and that they're all going down one by one. And Triple H is basically saying, I've heard that from so many people, from Austin, Rock, Benoit, Michaels. What makes you any different? Instant brawl. And you could definitely tell from this segment, WWE had huge plans for Edge right out of the gate at this point to making him a main event player on Raw. And then we get to Vengeance 2004, where Edge would face Randy Orton for the Intercontinental Championship. And fucking great match between these two.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, great match.
And in the end, Edge would defeat Randy Orton to become the new Intercontinental Champion. And upon winning the Intercontinental Championship, the team between Benoit and Edge would dissolve as a result.
Yeah, because Edge was at his, 5th Intercontinental Championship?
Something like that.
Fifth, somewhere in that range.
I believe it was his last reign with the IC title.
Yes, I know it was the last one, just couldn't remember.
So I think it is 5th.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But while still being Intercontinental Champion, Edge's feud with Evolution as a whole pretty much continued all throughout to the build-up to SummerSlam 2004, which would be held in his hometown of Toronto, Ontario, and at SummerSlam, Edge would defend the Intercontinental Championship in a triple threat match against Chris Jericho and Batista, and while a solid triple threat, let's be honest, the only thing this match is remembered for is Edge getting booed in his hometown as a babyface.
Pretty much every babyface on the night was getting booed. Edge got booed, Eugene got booed, Benoit got booed. Undertaker and JBL got the wave.
Mm-hmm.
This show is infamous for the crowd, and they cover it up for its Bizarro World, but
yeah.
No face on that night was... It was just one of those nights.
I don't know what ticked off the fans to do that. I don't fucking know.
It's a mystery how Toronto is the way they are.
We're smart fans. We know it all.
But if we're gonna be honest, like, this was basically the signaling the end of Edge's face run, because when you think about it, like, prior to when he would turn heel, he was basically the same character that he was after he and Christian broke up, which is going on 3 years, being the same character. And when you're booed in your hometown as a babyface, you know you're fucking stale as a babyface.
Yeah, it's like Edge, he was the same person cutting the same kind of promos. There was no evolution to the Edge character.
Aha!
And I mean, can we be honest? I don't think he really needed the Intercontinental title at this point.
No.
Shelton should have been the champion the month prior at Bad Blood.
Yeah.
And they could have had Orton and Edge face off at Vengeance, be non-title.
Yeah.
Because it really is like, okay, he's Intercontinental Champion. We've seen that. He's going after Evolution, and there's no progression. It's
no. And because with getting booed in Toronto, this would begin Edge's slow burn towards turning heel. Following a legitimate groin injury he suffered on a house show, Eric Bischoff would strip Edge of the Intercontinental Championship on the September 6, 2004 episode of Raw, and Edge would return a month later on the October 4th episode of Raw by helping Chris Benoit and Chris Jericho from an attack on Evolution, and was also announced that with the following pay-per-view coming up, Taboo Tuesday, Edge was part of a fan poll to determine who would face Triple H for the World Heavyweight Championship at Taboo Tuesday, along with Chris Benoit and Shawn Michaels, while the other two would team up to face La Resistance for the World Tag Team Championships. We get to Taboo Tuesday, and Shawn wins the poll, and Ed, and like Benoit and Shawn, they're happy, like shake hands, hug, and Edge, you can see in the look in his face, he's like, no, and just walks off. So Edge and Benoit are teaming up to face.
But let's remember the poll. The poll was so fucking close between Shawn and Edge.
It was like, what, a 1%? Close to 2%?
Something like that. And
very
apparently,
close,
apparently they say these polls were legit, which I don't know how legit, but the fact that it was like that close, if it was legit, that says a lot about what people wanted to see Edge in that spot.
Mm-hmm.
And also, a little bit off topic, Shawn was injured at that show. At Taboo Tuesday.
Yeah. Yeah, because
so
not long after the show, he was written off for about a month and a half.
They could have fudged the numbers a little bit, but it worked out.
It worked out storyline-wise. Yeah. That's all that matters. So then, later on in Taboo Tuesday, Edge teams up with Benoit one more time to face La Resistance, and during the match, Edge, he's just so bitter that he didn't win the shot at the title and walked out. But despite Edge abandoning Benoit mid-match, Benoit would eventually win the tag titles for himself and Edge for the second time during this period. And this tag title reign... champions! And during this title reign only lasted 13 days, as on the November 1st episode of Raw, they would have a rematch against La Resistance, and this time Edge abandons Benoit, only this time he just sits on a chair at ringside watching Benoit get beat, and La Resistance win the tag titles back. Post-match, Edge would attack Benoit, thus completing a full heel turn and beginning an on-and-off feud for the next several months with Benoit. And as a result, his character became a mixture of cocky, brash, and psychotic, unstable. Like, all that mashed together.
A little desperate, because he will do anything to get that shot at the World Heavyweight title.
Yes. And also would get Meddling Us by Alter Bridge as his theme. And that theme lasted up until just this year.
Yeah.
Which, I still can't, like, when I think of Edge, I think of that theme song.
Yes.
I mean, who doesn't?
I mean, the only other theme I think of him is the Never Gonna Stop by Rob Zombie, and then the classic Edge and Christian theme.
Yeah. Even though I love his new one, The Other Side by Alter Bridge, like, you can basically tell it's like Edge is like the modern Triple H when it comes to like getting theme songs, because Triple H has Motorhead, now Edge has Alter Bridge. It works out. So both of those changes to the character and his theme song going forward, and then, as a result, Edge would be a part of the main event of Survivor Series 2004, where he teamed up with Triple H, Batista, and Gene Snitsky against Randy Orton, Chris Benoit, Chris Jericho, and Maven?
It tells you that the star power on each show on Raw was kind of lacking a little bit. To have Snitsky, who, to be fair, context of the time, Snitsky was getting a little bit of a push feuding with Kane.
Yeah.
Oh,
Maven came out of fucking nowhere.
Yeah. It was just like, hey, we haven't used you for quite a while. How about we put you in the main event of this card? Okay.
But I love the build to that match where Edge is like, the only reason I'm on this team, because when we win and it's my week to be GM, I'm cashing in and getting my shot at the world title.
And that was basically the motive for Snitsky too, and we can get into like the Batista stuff at another point in time. But we get the match at Survivor Series, and fucking one of the better main events in Survivor Series history. A great match. Edge would actually get 2 eliminations on Benoit and Jericho before being eliminated by Orton, and Orton's team would end up winning, gaining GM control for the next 4 weeks. Which leads us to a big chunk of the story here. The November 29th, 2004 episode of Raw, where Randy Orton's the GM this time. And the show starts with a battle royal to determine the number 1 contender to the World Heavyweight Champion Triple H. And it gets to the final 2 of Edge and Benoit. And they pull a Royal Rumble 1994, eliminating each other at the same time. Refs are unsure, and they go to Orton to figure out, okay, what are we going to do? Orton decides that later in the night, it's going to be a triple threat for the World Heavyweight Championship. Triple H, Chris Benoit, and Edge. We get the match. Really good triple threat here. Also continuing the Batista Triple H story in the background. And then we get to the finish where Benoit has the crossface on Edge, and Edge, not wanting to tap, he shifts his weight to roll over Benoit. Benoit's shoulders are down. 1, 2, 3. And at the same time of the 3, Edge taps. Basically a repeat of the Undertaker Kurt Angle spot from over 2 years ago on SmackDown, for those who may not remember that match. And it seemed like at first Edge won the belt and he's celebrating with blood coming out of his nose. But then the ref takes the belt. It's Benoit's. And it's like, what the fuck is going on? Following week on Raw, right at the beginning, and it's Jericho's week to be GM. He hosts a highlight reel with Vince McMahon coming out with the belt and decides that I'm vacating the belt at least until next week for Bischoff to come back and make a final decision. we get to that week on Raw. Bischoff returns and announces that at the next pay-per-view, New Year's Revolution, we would get an Elimination Chamber match for the World Heavyweight Championship. Triple H, Edge, Chris Benoit, Chris Jericho, Batista, Randy Orton. Talk about a star-studded chamber match right there. Holy shit.
And Shawn Michaels is the special referee.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also one of the better chamber matches.
Yeah. Yeah, and this was kind of a big deal because it had been almost a year and a half since the last chamber match.
It'd been since SummerSlam 03.
Yeah, I was going to say
this is when the chamber actually meant something. They had it for when it was absolutely necessary. Not now where it's, hey, it's yearly, we need a chamber match. Goddamn. Goddamn, pal.
What a concept.
I know. And the chamber match itself, one of the best chamber matches of all time. And during the match, Edge accidentally spears Shawn. And in retaliation, Shawn gives Sweet Chin music to Edge, leading to Edge being the first one eliminated in the match. This would set up Edge's next program with Shawn Michaels. And then the next night on Raw, after winning a match, Edge cuts one of my favorite promos he ever cut in terms of just the anger and fury he unleashes, talking all about getting screwed over and over and over again every single step of the way. And I just love
it's like Bright 97.
Essentially,
it's like Bright 97.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was essentially that, but with Edge, and I just love his delivery whenever he was going on about the Battle Royal, which I rightfully won, and I got screwed again. It was like the veins are about to come popping out of his forehead. And then out comes Shawn, and we get the back and forth between the two, and also the classic, so you got some fellow Canadians here. What is it with you people coming to Florida? Stay in your own country. And if you think you're going to ruffle the heartbreak kids, you've got another thing coming.
I don't give a damn about them.
I give a damn about you. Basically telling Edge to snap out of it and slap some sense into himself and win the Royal Rumble match. And Edge made you think, yeah, I do need to look to the future, but I like this idea more. Slap, big brawl, all leading to Royal Rumble 2005, where we would get Edge versus Shawn. Very good match between these two to open the show. And Edge would beat Shawn. So, again, going to show you that WWE had huge plans for Edge for a while. To have him go over Shawn was a pretty big deal. And then would enter the Royal Rumble match later in the night and would be in the match for over 40 minutes, eliminate 5 men, and make it to the final 3 before being eliminated by both Batista and John Cena.
And of course, while he's walking up the aisle, that's when the double
fuming coming to the
was the second to last man out.
So you're gonna let me in. Oh shit, someone's gonna pop up. Whoa! Destroy the world. It's a big. I love that story so much.
Vince has a boat named the Sexy Bitch. That was my boss.
I couldn't imagine the look on Edge's face when he saw Vince pissed coming to the ring. Like, oh fuck!
I mean, he was like, "Don't look at him! Don't look at him! Just keep walking!
Just keep walking! Just keep walking! Just keep
walking!" I'm just imagining when Edge got to the monitor in the bag and see Vince both his quads.
He tore both his quads.
First quad when he hits the apron trying to slide in the ring, and then he goes to get up and tears the other one. Kevin Nash salutes you, Vince.
And then it was like, Aaron, move out of the way. Aaron, move out of the way when he comes back. Move out of the way.
Fucking great.
Edge tells the story amazing.
Yeah.
I now it makes me want to go back and listen to that story. Oh, God. But back on track, so the feud with Shawn would continue and end on the February 28th, 2005 episode of Raw, where they would have one of the best street fights I've ever seen. These two
another great Raw match.
Beat the fuck out of each other, and Edge would pick up the win thanks to interference from Kurt Angle, because this is during the Kurt Shawn stuff that's starting up. But that's another story for another time. So now, with the Shawn feud out of the way, where does Edge go from here? well, not long after the street fight, Eric Bischoff and Chris Jericho are talking about a new match for WrestleMania 21. It would be the first ever Money in the Bank ladder match where the winner would get a contract for a future World Championship match anytime for the next 12 months. And talk about star-studded match, we got Edge.
Shoot-wise, Edge
I was
going to
get to that. I was actually going to get to that.
Okay.
So yeah, it would be Edge, Chris Benoit, Chris Jericho, Kane, Christian, and Shelton Benjamin all going at it in what I still think to this day is the best Money in a Bank ladder match of all time.
Yeah, that and maybe 23. WrestleMania 23 was kind of good too.
It was a close second.
The first is always the best.
Yeah.
The best, just because it's the first.
Yeah.
And firsts are very rare in wrestling, so...
Nowadays.
Nowadays. And Edge would go on to win the ladder match and win the briefcase, but like James was about to say, but shoot-wise, according to an interview on Jericho's podcast with Edge, Edge said he did not like the concept of the of the ladder match idea at first, and even told management to not include him on the Mania card altogether, which it's like, whoa.
I mean, I can understand it from Edge's point of view. It's like, I've already done ladder matches at WrestleMania. Either have something different or don't bother using me. You can understand.
Yeah.
Because he did the triangle ladder match and the TLC and what else? You're going to have me do this is my first WrestleMania back. And
since 18.
And you're just gonna slot me in where I was 5 years ago? Like, no.
But
plus, coming off an injury like that, it's like something happens, he's right back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But thankfully, Jericho and Kane behind the scenes would talk him into still being in the match because they thought the match had potential to be a big success, and thank God for those two, otherwise this wouldn't have happened. And the match went off without a hitch, and Edge basically was made on that night, essentially. Post WrestleMania 21, Edge's on and off feud that we've been talking about with Benoit since October escalated even further, leading to Backlash 2005, where the two would settle everything in a last man standing match. One of the best last man standing matches of all time. Again, beat the fuck out of each other, and Edge picks up the win against another former world champion. So again, the ascent for Edge is just still going up and up and up in terms of stock. And
it would only get higher from here.
Mm-hmm.
Because you had the Gold Rush tournament.
After Backlash, a new number one contenders tournament, the Gold Rush tournament, was announced to determine the new number one contender to then World Heavyweight Champion Batista. Edge would defeat Chris Jericho and Shawn Michaels to make it to the finals against Kane on the May 16th episode of Raw. And these two had a great fucking match. Probably the best match these two had against each other. And Edge would pick up the win after Kane's wife, Lita, betrayed Kane to join with real-life boyfriend Edge, thus beginning the Rated R couple and beginning Edge's next program against Kane. The following week on Raw, Edge would get his title shot against Batista in a losing effort, but a really good match. However, in the meantime of all this going on, Edge is also involved in the anti-ECW crusade on Raw and SmackDown, leading to One Night Stand 2005, where Edge is in the balcony with Kurt Angle, JBL, Eric Bischoff, Orlando Jordan, Carlito, Matt Morgan, Christian, Jonathan Coachman, Tomko, Snitsky, La Resistance, and William Regal. And of course, during the show, we get the classic work shoot promo from Paul Heyman, shooting down a lot of the Crusaders, and then Edge, I got 2 words for you, Matt freaking Hardy!
Hide your wives, it's Edge!
Yep. And of course, even during the show, like during the Benoit Eddie match, he was getting like, Lita's got herpes chants going on.
Because they knew. Because they read the internet.
Yeah.
And we're definitely going to get to that for sure.
Because, yeah.
Post One Night Stand, back to the Kane feud we go, and the two would have several matches in the first half of the summer of 2005. On the June 20th, 2005 episode of Raw, we would get the classic Kane interrupting the wedding of Edge and Lita and tombstoning the priest. One of the funniest moments I've ever seen. Kane has tombstoned a priest! All leading to a rematch between the two at Vengeance 2005, in which Kane would win in a decent match. But then we get to July 11th, 2005 on Raw, where we would get another Edge and Kane match, in which we'll get to that when we get to that. But July 18th, we would get a steel cage match between the two, a really good steel cage match between Kane and Edge, in which Edge would pick up the win against a bloody Kane. And the feud would culminate the following week on Raw on the July 25th episode in a stretcher match, which Edge would win, but Kane would ultimately get the last laugh by tombstoning Lita on the stage and abducting her in an ambulance on a highway to hell with the door swinging open. Like, how they got away without any problems with that is beyond me. Because what if something would have went wrong? Like, what if Lita would have fallen out before the camera ended? Like, what the fuck do you do then?
I'm just imagining the conditions Lita must have said. If this happens to me, I want X amount of money.
Or I'll kick you in the balls, Glenn. However, during the Kane feud would be the start of Edge's next program. And boy, do I need a drink for this.
Oh, God.
So, to rewind to the earlier part of 2005, the revelation online that Edge and Lita were having an affair because Lita was cheating on Matt Hardy.
Yeah.
And Matt released everything on the internet, and Matt got fired. The fans found out, and they were on Matt's side. And that pretty much forced Lita to turn heel, and they forced Edge and Lita together on screen. And yeah, we get Matt Hardy shooting on Adam and Amy using their real names, because it's real, bro.
Yeah. And of course, to go further into the story, because Matt was out injured with a knee injury stemming from the summer of 2004, not on the road, so Lita was by herself a lot of times, but then got with Edge, and they became closer than they already were. And then one night, at Lita and Matt's house, Matt's just downstairs, and he sees on the window a reflection of a text message that Lita got from Edge, and then the shit hit the fan. Now, when I look back on this, like, was it right on both parties for what happened? Like, was Matt right for being upset? Yeah, I would be upset if I found out my girlfriend was cheating on me, but at the same token, airing your grievances out online wasn't the smartest decision.
No.
You deal with it in private like adults.
Yeah.
And that was one of those things. Matt wasn't being an adult.
This was a childish thing. I mean, this was what, 2005?
2005.
So the internet was, I mean, it
just
was
starting to become what it is now.
It's starting to become big, yeah.
But enough people found out, and when enough people find out, they tell people, and they tell people, and then eventually arenas are just booing Lita and chanting, "You screwed Matt at Edge." And if you didn't have the internet and didn't know what's going on.
Like me, I was saying before we started, like, back in my old house at this point, we just had dial-up, very poor internet, so I didn't get to find out anything until years later.
Same with me. I didn't have internet, until, years later, and I was like, oh, shit. But I remember watching that promo when Matt coming back. I was like, who's Adam? Who's Amy? I'm like, who are they? And then, of course, later, connected. I was like, oh.
Oh, he's talking about Edge and Lita.
But it's like, now everybody's all good.
Yes.
first off, to think that Edge and Matt were able to coexist in a professional manner to do this program.
Yeah.
With everything that went on.
Yeah.
And then and now they're friends again.
Which is good.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
And so, everyone's happy. Edge is married and has kids. Matt is married and keeps having kids.
To a bitch.
I mean, seriously, the Hardys are going to have enough kids to have their own promotion.
Probably. Yeah. Because also Jeff's got kids now.
But it's like Matt has, 15, 16, 18 kids now?
I got kids.
He's trying to fucking outdo Heath Slater.
I mean, at this point, it's like throwing a hot dog down a hallway, but I digress.
Yeah.
Or it's like, even a 747 looks small when you fly it into the Grand Canyon. Or it's not so much that Matt's short. The field he's playing on is just too damn big. Or you're trying to penetrate a Capri Sun with a wet spaghetti noodle.
Anyways,
but we digress a lot.
Focus on the episode, jackass.
But now we rewind back to the July 11th episode of Raw, where during the Edge Kane match, Matt Hardy would make his return by attacking Edge, and they presented it like this is real. Not even the commentators are referring or even bringing up Matt. They're just saying things are wild here. But grabs the mic, Adam, you bastard! I'm gonna make your life miserable. And Lita, you can go to hell, and the WWE can kiss my ass.
Watch the Ring of Honor pay-per-view!
Watch the Ring of Honor pay-per-view! And Edge, go back to the Indies, asshole. So, all this would keep going during the Kane feud. Every chance, Matt would show up out of the crowd and attack Edge.
We want Matt! We want Matt! We want Matt!
In hindsight, though, this was probably the worst choice Matt made coming back. I mean, that's another story for another time, but because imagine had he not come back right away, been gone for years, and then come back, this story could have
been bank. Could have been bank, for sure. But then we get to the August 1st episode of Raw, where Vince McMahon comes out and rehires Matt to the company, and Matt announces it's going to be him and Edge at SummerSlam 2005. Now, you would think that with how hot this feud was, with the story behind it, this was the biggest feud going for Raw at the time, bigger than even the WWE title program with Cena and Jericho.
There was only one program bigger. That was Shawn and Hogan on the same.
Yeah,
show.
I forgot about that. Yeah, so this was the
second hottest match heading into this show.
Yeah,
and basically what happens is like I said, you would have thought this should have been second or third to last on the card. Nope, it's second on the card as punishment to Matt for what happened.
And they killed Matt's character by having him come back and shake Vince's hand. This should have been unsanctioned. Matt coming through the crowd, no music, no nothing, and just let them fight for 7-8 minutes.
It should have been a match. It should have been an all-out brawl,
no finish,
no finish. Nothing.
I know I'm skipping ahead. You know the finish to their street fight on Raw?
Yes, that should have been here.
Should have been the finish here.
Mm-hmm. And it would have been perfect. But it happens this way as to teach Matt a lesson. And we get the match, and it was okay, but the finish, they stop it due to Matt's severe blood loss, which, when has that ever been a reason to stop a match? Like fucking Eddie Guerrero, JBL, for God's sake.
Hogan bled more in the main event.
Yes. But then we skip ahead 2 weeks to the August 29th, 2005 episode of Raw, where we would get the aforementioned street fight. Fucking another amazing street fight. And it ends in a no contest with the side effect off the stage through tables, speakers, and electrical equipment.
Good
my neck.
God.
My neck.
Yep. And the feud continued on heading into Unforgiven 2005, where this time they would face off in a steel cage match. Fucking great match. Probably the best feud, or the best match of the feud, was the steel cage match. Fucking awesome match here, with the awesome leg drop off the top, leading to Matt getting the victory. So Matt at least got a little something.
The only time he got anything in it.
Yes. And then the feud would eventually culminate on the October 3rd, 2005 Raw Homecoming episode in a loser leaves Raw Money in the Bank ladder match. Whoever wins gets the briefcase. Whoever loses, gone from Raw. Another great match. Edge picking up the win after Lita holds Matt's arms in the ropes. And Edge keeps the briefcase, and then Matt goes over to SmackDown. However, it was during this time Edge would suffer a legit torn pectoralis major muscle that would sideline him for the next couple of months. But in the meantime, to keep him on TV and to keep his momentum going, we get the Cutting Edge show starting up, when officially proclaiming himself as the Rated R Superstar. And with this new show over the next month, he would use it to start his next program against then Intercontinental Champion Ric Flair. And on the December 5th, 2005 episode of Raw, we get what, in my opinion, was the best Cutting Edge they ever did, where he's just trashing Flair after Flair's road rage incident, whatever the fuck that was. Trash Flair until Michael P.S. Hayes and Sergeant Slaughter show up to tell him, we need to go, you've gone too far. And good God, and then the segment we get between Hayes and Edge. Holy fuck. It's work shoot beyond belief, and fucking Michael Hayes still showing that even after not wrestling or doing much talking on TV for years, could still cut a promo and get you invested.
If you're a great talker, you're a great talker forever. Like, P.S. Hayes could come out tonight and cut a promo and still be great.
Yeah, going on about, like, what is it with you kids today? I don't get it. And bringing up how it's like people like me and him and Flair who have built this business for you to have what you got today. And how many times have you been in the main event? How many houses did you sell out and turn away? But here's the big one. How many world titles do you have? I got the answer. 0. And then Edge goes below the belt, bringing up Terry Gordy, and then Hayes. Listen, you son of a bitch, the only reason you got this show is because you're banging Matt Hardy's ex-girlfriend. Now let's go. Boom. And they would both attack Slaughter and Hayes. Hayes would get a little offense in before briefcase shot. Scene. But I watched that segment back now, and it's like, good God. I mean, yeah. Just,
it's something.
It's something, that's for damn sure.
Better than anything on today's wrestling.
Yes. Yeah. But all of this would lead to New Year's Revolution 2006, where Edge would eventually face Ric Flair for the Intercontinental Championship. An okay match between the two, with Flair winning by disqualification. However, that's not all for Edge on this night. At the end of the night, after John Cena successfully defended the WWE Championship in another great Elimination Chamber match against Kane, Chris Masters, Carlito, Kurt Angle, and Shawn Michaels, bloodied up John, post-match, Vince McMahon shows up and says, it's not over for you yet. Edge is cashing in his Money in the Bank in an impromptu match, and we get Edge Cena for like a minute, and Edge would defeat John Cena to finally win a world title and become WWE champion. So, before we get to the reign itself, the whole lead-in to all this, like, talk about a crazy journey for Edge heading into this moment from when he came back. Like, starting off babyface, working Evolution, to then getting booed in Toronto, then turning heel, having great matches with Benoit and Shawn and Hunter, Kane, and then the whole thing with Matt happened, and then the promos and the stuff with Flair, all leading up to this. Like, despite a few roadblocks in the way, particularly the Matt stuff, talk about a hell of a comeback from a neck injury. Like,
Mm-hmm.
And even the Matt stuff that added to his heat.
Added to the character, yeah.
Yeah. Because can you imagine if WWE wouldn't, let's just say they wouldn't have brought Matt. It's like everything goes on track. They don't bring Matt, but the crowd's still chanting, "You screw Matt, you screw Matt." And imagine Edge winning the title and Hardy coming back. It would have been bigger.
Could have probably got away with doing a title program between the two.
It would have. I mean, but again, we got what we got, which it's okay.
But I don't think WWE never saw Matt as a singles top star.
Nah.
No, unfortunately,
they saw Jeff as a singles top star, and you can understand. You could package Jeff as a singles top star. Matt,
because of popularity,
it took him becoming broken.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's another story. That's a great story at some point to talk about.
Yeah,
the broken universe.
But following night on Raw, Edge decides to celebrate the title victory by having sex with Lita in the middle of the ring, which shoot-wise, they tried everything in their power to not do this. But it's like, and even for the jaded fan, you're thinking, how the hell are they going to get away with something like this? It's like
they got
two
away.
people having sex in the middle of the ring.
But to be fair, the ratings were growing with Edge as champion.
That's true. Yeah, because as a result of this segment, it got them a 5.2, their highest rating in over a year.
Yeah. That nipple slip, though.
Props to the nip slip, of course, which is funny. It's funny to think, like, it's just, I just laugh at this. Like, I remembered a long time ago back when What Culture Wrestling was worth a shit, and they used to do the 10 things WWE wants you to forget about videos, and they did one for Lita. It's like, they make you want to forget the nip slip, but they want you to remember the live sex, but don't you ever talk about the nipple. Nipples are bad. But I just find that kind of funny. And it's like Edge, he looks confident during the whole thing, but even he'll say deep down he was a nervous, fucking terrified wreck.
Yeah,
because again, they tried everything in their power to not let this happen, and who could blame them?
Who wouldn't blame him? Can you imagine if you're forced to have sex in the middle of a ring? With everyone looking like...
With everybody watching, it's like, what are we seeing here?
I mean, I don't think we'd be able to, have the manpower to do the act, because everyone's watching,
Just saying, he couldn't keep it up.
Yeah, he couldn't keep it up. But I will say, a few highlights that did crack me up was the shot of Edge under the covers coming up with the panties in his mouth going... That I cracked up from that, and then the spinner belt, and then with the spinner belt while Lita's going to town with her mouth, quote unquote, and Jerry Lawler again cracked me up during the call on this. But even after some foreplay and maybe some premature ejaculation, Ric Flair comes out because the feud between Edge and Flair's not over either. Flair comes out and he's just laughing his ass off, like, "What the hell is this?" All leading to Edge giving him a brutal concerto on the announce table. Of course, Flair, because it's Flair. But then after that, Cena would come out and beat the hell out of Edge. And then, again, this is another reason I love John so much, is how he is as a dude. Like, he's peeking under the covers. Woo! Not bad. And then Lita gets the shirt on in time, and then Cena gives the FU to Lita out of revenge. But like I said, the live sex celebration did earn Raw's biggest rating in over a year out of 5.2. So good call in putting Edge with the belt to get them more ratings, because it worked.
Edge winning the belt was getting the traffic to WWE.com. Some of the biggest traffic they'd seen in forever.
Yeah.
I wonder
why. My God.
I wonder why.
So then, following this, the following week on the January 16th, 2006 episode of Raw, Edge would defend the title against Ric Flair in an underrated TLC match that was really awesome, and Edge would retain the title.
Ric Flair in a TLC match. That in 2006.
Late 50s.
Well, I mean, That was also the same year Flair and Big Show had a hardcore match on ECW for the ECW title in New York.
Ooh.
And Flair bled a gusher and almost won the ECW title.
And also having a hardcore match with Foley at SummerSlam and a gusher there, too.
Can you imagine Ric Flair if he would have won the ECW World title?
Dude, he'd been a hero.
He would have been a hero.
It would have been so ironic because the ECW fan shit on Flair for years because of Shane Douglas. And all, Flair is dead and Dick Flair and all that. And then fast forward all these years, Flair winning the ECW title.
17 times! 17!
Right. It'd been more than that. But
I know,
anyway.
27 to be exact.
Yeah.
But then post the Flair feud, the Cena feud would continue heading into Royal Rumble 06, where they would have a rematch. Pretty good match between the two. Granted, they would have much better matches later in the year and then in the years after. And Cena gets the belt back. So, yeah, some people would look back on this as like, why give Edge the belt only to have him lose it later in the month? Which, I've had my opinion. I've been thinking about this all day, even while I was taking notes. Like, how would I have booked Edge if he didn't cash in at New Year's Revolution? Well, for me, I would just keep him in the feud with Flair without anything else. I would have held off his cash in for WrestleMania because here's what I would have done. At WrestleMania, you keep the Cena Triple H stuff as is. Cena retains the title, then Edge cashes in, and that way he could say, and you would keep the Foley stuff too. So he would have had his WrestleMania moment with Foley, and then add to that by cashing in and being in the main event of WrestleMania, and beat Cena for the belt.
Unpopular opinion.
So basically,
Edge should have been the champion all the way to Mania. Keep the cash in the way it is. Have him go through. Have him be in the main event of WrestleMania because he had earned that. Yeah. With all the hard work, all the heat he had. You could have done a triple threat, him, Cena, and Triple H. And heck, you could have had Triple H take the fall and John win the belt back. Whatever. Edge should have been the champion heading into Mania. Yeah, you would have lost the Foley match, but you could have done Foley and you could have done Foley and somebody else and made a new star.
Like who? I'm just trying to think.
I'm trying to think who was up and coming on Raw at that
time. I mean, Carlito was kind of up and coming.
He was on the cusp.
Yeah.
Yeah, Carlito was on the... But he had already feuded with Foley before.
Yeah, but would you have it as a regular match or have the hardcore
No, it would have had to be.
Do hardcore with somebody. Do hardcore, I don't know with who, but Edge should have been the champion at WrestleMania.
I'm just trying to think...
He got his main event 2 years later. But here in 06,
yeah.
Because I'm trying to think who was at the time in 06 could have been with Foley instead of Edge. I don't know. I mean, was Lashley in the company? Or he was on
SmackDown.
He was on SmackDown, though.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
But who's a SmackDown guy, up-and-comer? I mean, he'd already worked Orton, so you couldn't do Orton again.
No.
Yeah. Maybe. I was going to say, if Kennedy wasn't on SmackDown, you could have maybe had Kennedy.
I mean, yeah.
And it could have worked, but...
And that would have added to Kennedy's rising star.
Yeah, it really would have,
Yeah.
But I think either way, like, either mine or James' scenario would have been a little better than what they ended up doing, but I was going to continue with my scenario, like, after he would cash in at Mania and beat Cena in the main event... He would go on and have the belt until One Night Stand, where instead of Cena and RVD, Edge RVD. It'd be like the reverse, where Cena would come out and cost Edge the title out of revenge. Now, I've been trying to wrap my head around this, because when you look back on, and we'll talk more in depth about it when we get to the One Night Stand 06 episode here in several weeks, but that night, like, before the main event, like, Edge was the most hated guy in the arena and pinning Beulah missionary style to get all that heat. then he interferes against Cena, spears Cena through the table, takes the helmet off, and then he's like the biggest hero of them all. I imagine what it would have been like. I would imagine what it would have been like if they would have reversed it. Like Edge go in as champion, still would have gotten the most boos out of anybody because they all hated Edge because of what happened with Matt. Cena interfering. I'd imagine Cena would have gotten a pretty good response, like, thank you, Cena, because you helped RVD win the belt.
Yeah.
And it would have helped further the Cena-Edge feud. Granted, of course, the whole suspension with RVD would have still happened, so I would have put the belt right back on Edge afterwards, and then keep the Cena-Edge stuff as it happened for real. But either scenario that James or I brought up would have been better than what we had.
Well, look, it
all worked out. It would all work out regardless.
It all worked out.
Because Edge got a great WrestleMania match with Foley.
Yeah.
He got his eventual title win in July. And then the stuff with Cena afterwards, and pretty much
R-rated RKO, and the rest is history. Yep.
So it all worked out in the end, but either or could have worked, but...
But overall, with the build-up to becoming champion, like, hell of a ride, no matter what. So, no matter how you slice it, you can't take away that Edge put in the work, and it all paid off in the end. And look at him now. He's still going to this day, which is
Judgment
Day. Yep.
And it's like, it's another one of those examples of a great road to the championship, but not the best reign.
Yeah. Like, this is definitely
a time... You can look at a lot of the great roads to championships. It's a great chase, but not the best reign.
Yeah, like, this was still at a time where Edge was, like, the greatest chaser at the time. Yeah, not the best champion at first, but then, as time went along, then he developed to becoming a great champion over the years. So, there is that for you. But that is Edge's road to the WWE Championship and his first WWE title reign from returning post-WrestleMania 20 all the way through Royal Rumble 2006. And like I said, I think in terms of comeback stories, one of the best comeback stories ever. Coming back from being over a year on the shelf, injured for a year and a half, and comes back and has a hell of a story going forward to becoming world champion finally.
Yeah, and this guy not only came back once, not twice, but 3 times.
Yep. Which is insane to think.
Yeah, I don't remember when was the last time someone did that. It's beyond me.
I know, right? But, so now with all that out of the way, now favorite matches during this period. And there were a lot of really good ones. Like I brought up the street fight with Shawn, the last man standing with Benoit, the
him
street
and Orton
fight with
Vengeance.
Hardy, him and Orton at Vengeance.
The Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank.
The cage match with Hardy.
The street fight with Hardy.
I would say those are the best ones right there. And the Gold Rush final with Kane. That would be up there too in terms of this period.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, fucking consistent all throughout. No matter how you slice it. And then, yeah. So, now, if you guys in the chat, whether you're on Twitch or YouTube, have any questions, feel free to ask.
By the way, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe.
Subscribe
and follow or subscribe on Twitch.
Yes. And if you subscribe, you'll get a special sound effect.
We're not going to tell you what the sound effect is. You'll just have to find out
for yourself.
Yes,
if you must.
But in terms of wrestling news, not much wrestling
other than
news.
A couple of releases that happened,
which didn't really mean much. It's
I mean, let me check. Maybe there might be something we missed.
Other than the name of the new faction with Damian Priest and Edge called Judgment Day, which is fitting.
Oh, the tag team unification got canceled.
Yeah.
It's now going to be a 6-man tag. Which I hope they add winners take all.
I hope they do.
Because the tag team unification was the only thing that pay-per-view had. Now, really, just doing the 6-man tag, the only thing I could see is Drew pinning Roman. To be the first guy to pin Roman since December 2019.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
To start
and then you could say, hey, Drew's pinned Roman. And make the champion look a little vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, building
Start
up
the road.
Yep.
Start the road to September.
Yeah.
Yep.
Also, Rhea turned heel. Now she's a heel again.
And it's only a matter of time before she joins Judgment Day.
That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping she does that. So, and I think I heard that maybe Judgment Day could be maybe a team that might go against the Bloodline. Can you imagine Judgment Day versus the Bloodline?
Yeah, but that would be a heel program, and
I could. Well, at some point, I could see the Bloodline turning babyface.
Yeah,
because Roman's he's getting some of the biggest cheers on house shows.
Mm-hmm.
True.
So eventually, but now I'm trying to think who else could join Judgment Day.
I've heard Ciampa.
There's rumors of Ciampa.
I've heard Ciampa too.
Like, have Ciampa and Priest be the team. You know, Edge wrestles every so often, but is in that managerial role.
Yeah.
And then, like, have Rhea prime her to be the top female heel on Raw.
Yeah. I would add Shotzi to that group, to be honest.
You only need one woman on that, in the faction.
True. So it will be...
And Shotzi SmackDown, so...
And Shotzi's too punk to be in that group.
I mean, I'd be true, but what if they do like I think I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, Judgment Day, but throughout the entire roster, some SmackDown and NXT. I mean,
I think it's gonna be a Raw only thing.
I mean, unless
besides, Raw needs a faction because SmackDown, you already got the Bloodline going.
So, but who else could they add? Just say.
I think it would just be those four. I think it should just be those four.
Unless they give us a swerve.
I mean, hell, you could just have Edge and Priest as Judgment Day, and that could work too.
Yeah, that could work too. I don't mind that at all.
And if they were to like even go after the tag titles, could you imagine the kind of matches they could have against guys like Alpha Academy and Street Profits, RK Bro, the Usos? And
I mean, Ciampa and Priest as a team, that'd be
even
perfect for a team.
Priest and Ciampa would be perfect too.
Priest and Ciampa be the tag team that beats all the other teams.
Mm-hmm.
And win both tag titles and just dominate going forward. And then like start priming Rhea up to be the one to take the belt off of Bianca.
Yeah.
And then you have a built-in program with Edge and Roman as well.
Mm-hmm, exactly. Yeah. While you're doing that, you're building Drew in the back to be the one to this.
And then
Roman
get Cody that Money in the Bank briefcase as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have that story. There's a lot of stuff going on, and that's what I like about potentially one belt.
Yes.
Because you can have multiple stories going at once.
Yeah. What a concept, people.
And I mean, it looks like the brand split might end the way that Raw guys are on SmackDown, SmackDown guys are on Raw. You're seeing a lot of meshing. I could see a brand split ending.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it could.
At this point, the brand split doesn't mean shit.
Yeah.
I understand why they brought it back, because they signed so many wrestlers. Now
that there's less guys, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and of course...
Which is funny, because I remember I kept advocating for it, and it was just for the mere fact that there was just so many people, but now that there's less people...
Now that you've cut the main roster in half, it seems...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then, of course, we have the potential sale eventually. It's going to happen.
Yeah, it's not a matter of if, but when.
Exactly, when it's going to happen. Like I said, I'm still saying NBC's going to buy them. They're my pick.
It's gonna be them or Disney. But see, with Disney, you laugh at Disney, but think about it. The potential for what channels they could be on. They could be on ESPN. They could be on ABC. Imagine Monday Night Raw on ABC. It would be 2 hours again. Mm-hmm. You could have SmackDown on ESPN.
Yep. Yeah. There's also it just adds another Infinity Stone to the Disney Infinity Gauntlet. Marvel, Star Wars, National Geographic, Pixar, now WWE.
5 out of 6.
The WWE Network off of Peacock and put that on ESPN Plus
or Disney Plus, because I think, if I remember correctly, in some country WWE is on Disney Plus.
So that's why I think Disney has the inside track.
Maybe.
And really, I would love Raw on ABC for the specific reason of it be 2 hours again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I don't remember
what watch.
I don't remember the last time. I think it was like 2012.
It's been 10 years.
It's been 10 years since it's been 3 hours.
It's been 10 years since Raw 1000.
I mean, I remember
that could be an episode we do in July. That could be an episode we do at some point, maybe in August.
Raw 1000. Yeah. Yep.
Raw
because
1000.
It's been a decade since they went to 3 hours permanently.
I remember. I remember back then, before Raw 1000, they used to bring the 3 hour event for special occasions, like maybe Grammy Awards and
for the Slammies,
like a one-off. The Raw Roulette. They used to do that.
And then it became permanent. Mm-hmm. But that was a network thing.
Yeah,
people laugh at the potential of Disney buying them, the memes and all that. But Disney buying them could be a good thing.
Yeah,
because if they are on ABC, which that would be perfect. ABC for Raw, ESPN potentially for SmackDown, and maybe ESPN2 for NXT.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm just imagining because we know eventually Kevin Feige might
and you could have a physical WWE Hall of Fame at Disney World.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or Disneyland in California.
Yeah.
A physical Hall of Fame. There's so much potential, more so than if NBC buys them. If NBC buys them, it's predictable. We know they've had a relationship for 40 years. Disney buying them, there's so much for future stuff.
The amount of money, the endless money.
Yeah.
I
would just love it for the fact that having Raw on ABC.
Yeah.
Because that's where it would be.
Mm-hmm. Can you imagine if Kevin Feige would have been comes out like a Monday Night Raw? Oh my God, it's MCU President Kevin Feige.
The guy who's really been making Disney billions over the past 10 years.
I mean, eventually Kevin Feige might, one of these days, it's going to be the CEO of Disney in general.
Maybe.
Eventually. Because I don't see Kevin Feige leaving Marvel.
No, he's there forever, essentially.
Now,
he's basically Stan Lee now.
Yeah.
The only other potential buyer for WWE would be Fox.
Yeah.
Since they already got SmackDown on Fox right now.
And I mean, you could have Fox have both Raw and SmackDown, and have Fox Sports have NXT.
Yeah. And you could have WWE Network on Hulu.
Or Fox can start their own app.
Yeah.
I think that's eventually going to happen.
We just don't know when.
Yeah, because there's so many. Yeah, because so much stuff on Fox they could put over there.
Because it's granted, Simpsons is already on Disney Plus. Family Guy's on Hulu.
I just forgot. I just forgot. I forgot. Technically, actually, it would still be Disney because Disney owns Fox.
So it's either Disney or NBC Universal who's going to buy WWE at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like. I kind of forget. It's like, Disney owns everything.
Yeah, I forgot. Sometimes I forget that Disney owns 20th Century Fox.
Or, I mean, the the dude who owns Amazon could buy WWE.
Yeah.
The dude who just bought Twitter could buy WWE.
Elon Musk.
Can you imagine Elon Musk?
New meme in the making now. Damn it.
Dude, the people who own Google could buy WWE.
Fuck Google.
Who own Apple?
Fuck Google.
Can own WWE also?
The people who own...
You know what's one person who's not gonna own WWE? Netflix.
That ship's going down quicker than the Titanic. Holy Jesus Christ. Blockbuster's over sticking their hand out of the grave like The Undertaker.
Yeah, like Blockbuster's coming back. Netflix sucks.
Or that James.
I have not had Netflix for years.
Dude, so. I get free Netflix. You know, who gives a shit about password sharing and all of that?
Yeah.
That's not why they're losing subscribers. They're losing subscribers because a lot of their shit sucks.
And all the stuff that used to be on there is now going to other places like Disney Plus and Hulu and Amazon Prime.
And HBO Max.
Paramount Plus, Discovery Plus, HBO Max, yeah.
Oh, speaking of HBO Max, it's like we know that Warner Media is not going to buy WWE.
Oh, no.
That's a guarantee.
Hell no, they're not going to buy anything, especially...
Wouldn't that be the biggest ironic thing in the... Because WWE bought WCW from AOL Time Warner. Fast forward 20 plus years, Warner Media buys WWE.
Oh my god.
And they have Ezra Miller right there in the front.
Oh my god. That would be...
I mean, it will be unlikely, but with Discovery now, Warner Media, they canceled so much of like DC content, like a lot.
What's that going to hold for the future of All Elite Wrestling?
Mm-hmm.
Are they going to renew their deal? Because that deal's coming up within a year or two.
I don't know. Unless... I mean, where else can AEW go? I'm trying to think.
Well, they can't go to anything NBC Universal owns, because WWE has full range of that.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say... Viacom with CBS-related stuff?
Yeah.
Probably.
And they could... And hell, that would... Actually, now that we were talking about with Paramount Plus, they could put, like, Dark and stuff like that on Paramount Plus.
Yeah, I mean, that could be a thing.
And have AEW on CBS.
Yeah, I was going to say Spike, but I'm like, no. I don't
Spike, that's Paramount Network now.
Yeah, that's the Paramount Network.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, Viacom could do a deal with them. Again, we talk about they could do a deal with ABC or whatever.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean,
You're not
I don't know.
Going to do a deal with Fox.
No.
Like I said, it all just depends on what WWE sells to. Then.
Right. Or what it all depends about TV contracts and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And are the Discovery people going to be happy with the current viewership? I
mean, unless somehow somebody buys both... one of the companies, somebody we're not expecting. Who could it be?
Yeah, there could always be some random, like, just under the radar company that just has a shit ton of money that we just don't know about or just don't think about shows up. So
Can you imagine people be like, what?
Like this place? Really?
These people bought WWE?
Or these people got AEW? What?
Well, it would be AEW talking AEW television.
No, I'm just wondering.
Because Warner Media does not own them. The cons own them. Let's
see. Underrated companies. I don't know. Now I just want to see.
I don't even know. I was just saying that just to be stupid.
Now I just want to see. Now I just want to see who the hell could actually buy. I mean, we mentioned.
WWE.
We mentioned Amazon.
Well, not buying AEW though.
Yeah. Let's see. IBM. No. Disney we already mentioned. Target. No. Walmart. No. Can you imagine Walmart buying WWE? I mean, they do have a lot of exclusive figures. Even Target has a lot of exclusive figures, so never know.
Could always get the people who own Facebook.
Oh god.
Oh god, can you imagine?
No.
Can you imagine
not.
Mark Zuckerberg owning WWE?
Fuck Mark Zuckerberg. That's all I gotta say.
Or how about
Joe Rogan buy WWE?
Who owns AMC?
How about the Jones family that owns the Cowboys?
Oh hell no. Hell no. Hell fucking no. No. Fuck no.
Yeah.
Fuck no. Fuck no.
The Trump family.
Oh god. I mean,
well, there's Trump... history there. WrestleMania 4 and 5.
I mean,
that's not the most insane thing out of them all.
I mean, he did buy Raw once.
That's
for like a week. For like
1 week. That was an entertaining Raw, I will admit.
And they had to retcon the whole thing because stockholders didn't know what a fucking work was.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Can you imagine a sports team like a baseball team or a basketball team buying WWE?
Fucking Mark Cuban buys WWE.
See, that could be an interesting thing because Cuban's got a lot of fucking money.
And does love his wrestling. I mean, hell, fucking guest hosted Raw 1 week and got put through a table by Sheamus.
But it's like Mark Cuban's got a lot of cash.
Mm-hmm.
If he
so
wanted
it's not
to,
out of the realm of possibilities there.
Now we're just going to the realm what celebrities could buy WWE. Now that was a whole different rabbit hole.
The Kardashian family buys WWE.
Oh god.
That would be the worst thing in the history of history.
How about Kim? Who else has a lot of money that could buy WWE?
Fucking The Rock buys WWE.
Oh shit! Can you imagine The Rock?
Fitting. I mean, he did buy XFL from Vince.
For how much? Not even a lot. Or how about?
But either or.
Can you imagine? I know this is probably not gonna happen. Can you imagine Undertaker buying WWE?
You need billion. You would need over $1 billion to buy it.
Over $1 billion.
I mean, you never know. I mean, take
Bill Gates.
Oh God, Bill Gates. Yeah. No. I doubt it. But can you imagine Sony of all companies?
Oh yeah, Sony. That's another company we didn't talk about. Yeah.
Sony.
That's not a possibility.
That's not a. But I'm like, but you never know.
It's like to buy WWE outright, it's going to be over $1 billion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No matter how you slice it.
Let me see this. How much is WWE worth in stock?
I own.
Let's see.
Where's Scott when you need him so he can tell us because he works in stocks? You know.
Let's see. $58.39 a share. That's what's currently. So let me check how much are they worth supposedly. Worth 2022. $5.7 billion.
Yeah, sounds about right.
So it's going to cost about $6-7 billion-ish, give or take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's going to take a really rich company or a really rich old person.
The richest,
or a really
Elon
rich
Musk.
person in general. Oh,
the
Or
richest
Elon Musk.
man in the world.
It's Elon Musk.
yeah.
No, it's actually not Elon Musk. He's not the richest man in the world. It's actually Jeff Bezos.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I don't know how much he has. Let's see how much he has. Jeff Bezos. Worse. Oh shit! 177.5 billion.
Jesus Christ.
Oh shit! That's how much he's worth? Oh fuck me. Well, Becky, that's my pick to buy the company if he wants to.
For just a small
How much
chunk
did
of
you
change.
say Bezos was worth?
177.5 billion. The guy wants...
Elon Musk 264.6 billion.
Oh fuck.
So yeah.
Oh,
Like I said, Elon Musk is the richest dude in the world.
I mean, now the guy owns fucking Twitter and Tesla, so why not add one more to the Infinity Gauntlet, to his Infinity Gauntlet?
Yeah, richest people in the world.
Oh,
Yeah, Elon Musk and Bezos is number 2.
Who's behind him? Bill Gates?
No. I don't know who.
It's just I'm the
More money than we will ever see ever.
yeah.
Let's just say.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
I don't even know a better way to wrap up then, other than, hey, Krusty, what are you doing?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna drink.
Don't you drink enough? Here, try some bungee kush. I got it from Tony over there.
Yeah, oh my. Holy shit.
That's good shit, isn't it?
That's some good shit.
Because I always say, drink blood, get high. Where's my blood at? Oh.
Yeah, want some volcano insurance?
Hey, that's my business, not yours, you fat clown.
Who you calling fat drunk?
Excuse me, I ought to take one of my dreads and shove it down your throat and out
What
your
the
ass.
hell's going on over here? You've got a fat piece of shit and a drunk piece of shit, and they're talking volcano insurance, and they should be talking jackass. I once had a jackass. I
love that jackass. And then one day the jackass broke his leg, and my daddy had to shoot that jackass.
Yes.
That is my bet.
No, it's not. Krusty, shut up. Stop trying to do Terry's voice.
Hey guys, the boss here.
Tony, hey, that bungee kush shit, that was really good until he took it all. By the way, where's Orange Cassidy? Where is he? I want to kick him in the nuts for being a tool.
Majeff. What's a Majeff?
What, Majeff? Oh, it's MJF, you dumb motherfucker.
Why is everybody talking so crazy? Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'll tell you what. It just started here with Krusty the Clown, and then it started to go with fucking.
Excuse me, sir. What are you trying to tell us? Because I cannot understand a single thing you are saying.
Listen, I got a new move to show you. I stretch you, and I hit you with the chair. Helen, give me my pants. I gotta show these drunk fat people a new move. It's called their mother's a whore.
I don't understand the question. Finland!
Yes, Finland is the greatest country in the world.
Yes.
Yes.
Hey, Lois, where's my supper? Still in the oven. Will I have it soon? Quite soon. Thank you. You're welcome. Yeah. I'm frightened.
What the hell's going on?
What the hell? Anyways, I think that's a good place to, I think that's a good time to wrap. Oh, God damn it.
Yeah, show you a new move.
I tell you, man, I want to say,
I got a good sleeper. I put bread in it, it just knocks him right out. And one day, I put a sleeper on my son Bruce, and he never woke up again.
That's not a jackass. That's my son Bruce.
Never forget
and then Bruce hit it with a little hood as it is those bottles. So Chris Bonds and Krusty the Clown.
God dang it, Boomhauer! What's wrong with you?
What smells like ranch?
Oh God, that reminds me. I did this thing the other night where I was doing like, what if Hank Hill and Terry Funk had the same voice?
Oh no!
Singing Bray Wyatt's theme song. Catching flies in his goddamn mouth tastes like bubble gum as it came out my asshole. And then my mom sent me up those stairs. You understand me? On top of those stairs. He won't see the sun again for years to come 'cause he's broken out of love. You understand me? He's broken out of love. And if you don't keep your mouth shut, I'm gonna take my ring hand and I'll smack it across your mouth forever!
Cut that, somebody, please. Thank you.
Please, somebody clip that, because that was good. And that's
anyway,
a good time to wrap up. So, we're talking about wrapping up to next week. So, reminder, next week...
Yes.
Rebooking Heroes of Wrestling for the 2-year anniversary.
So, to go over... okay, I'm going to have to DM the rules so that we are all on the same page.
Yeah. One word only.
Heroes of Wrestling. Yes. And we all have to participate, Levi. And you have to actually make a card.
Levi.
And use the people on there.
Levi.
And you have to actually put effort into it, Levi.
What James said.
Then the week after that, we're talking, continuing the John Cena stuff. We are going to be talking top 10 worst John Cena matches.
Which should be an easy list.
For the most part, yeah. And then the week after that's episode 100. More than likely going to be a Q&A, but you never know what we're going to throw at you.
We could always throw trivia. We could do anything.
Yeah, we could do anything.
Episode 100. Hey, maybe we could have Krusty call a match or two.
Krusty and Barnes call a match. Oh, God damn it.
No. Krusty and Barnes calls Heroes of Wrestling.
Oh, my God.
That should be a Twitch exclusive.
I will tell you what, all that Jack the Star was shaking his snake until that lady makes me want to shake my snake.
Who's this butcher-looking guy? I'm a butcher. I was butchered at birth, for God's sake. Anyways, and then May 28th.
People think that I'm drunk. Ugh.
I'm high, you're drunk. Let's get it right. Anyways, and then at the end of May, we're going to be talking Slamboree 1994. June, the aforementioned ECW One Night Stand 2006 episode.
ECW.
Then the week after that's the top 10 John Cena feuds.
Another easy list.
For the most part, again. Then the week after that's the review of TNA's very first show, 2002, because it's the 20th anniversary. And then ending June, UWF Beach Brawl, because why the fuck not?
Yes! Which, by the way, it happened only a couple of days after I was born.
Oh my lord. And then July is starting off for 4th of July weekend, Great American Bash 1992. Then the week after that, it's SummerSlam 1992. Week after that's top 10 SummerSlam Intercontinental Championship matches. And then concluding July with Bret Hart's SummerSlam history. What do we got in store for August? Remains to be seen, but we'll figure it out. But before we go, it's blood time, James.
You can find me on my YouTube at We Are Pro Wrestling, where I just uploaded an episode on Harlem Heat in WCW. So check that out. As far as what I've got in store for May, just go to the community tab on my channel and look at the most recent thing I have in the community tab. That should give you a clue. If you don't figure it out, just look at it. You should get it right away. Subscribe to me in my channel. I'm close to 10,000. Follow me on my Twitter at WAPW_wrestling for more updates.
Ricky.
You can find me on my Twitter, HorrorMaster18. You can find me on my Instagram at Arcaravan Metal Guy, where I post a lot of my CD collections, memes, and all that. And you can find me on my YouTube channel at HorrorMaster. And you can catch me once in a while here on Levi's channel doing Shadow Kvlt, doing the Metallum show, and of course, the Horseman podcast.
And then real quick to plug Scott, check him out on YouTube at It's Mr. Scott, on Twitter at Mr. Scott, or at It's Mr. Scott, on YouTube, or Twitch at It's Mr. Scott, or Mr. Scott Rocks. I forget what it is now because he changes it so much. And then follow Walter on Twitter at @YourWaltBall, and on Instagram at @Smokin_Walt_ball. And you can catch them both on the Necrocasticon podcast every Monday or Tuesday, I forget, where they talk about horror and heavy metal. So there's them. And then finally, you can subscribe to me on YouTube, ThrashManiac99. Just yesterday did the latest collection update, also the 30 CD mystery box from Transcending Records. A lot of stuff I gotta check out in this fucking stack that I haven't put in my shelf yet.
And you have some hidden gems. From the video I saw, you have like maybe 5 gems. You're like, yes!
I was originally going to post my Rammstein review today, but I didn't have the time to check it out before this because I just got caught up. Took a nap because it was rainy all day and it just bored me, so I just went to bed for a little bit. And then helping to clean up and shit, so I didn't get time today. But tomorrow, possibly double review, Rammstein and Watain. If not, Rammstein tomorrow, Watain Monday. Of course, Under the Radar will be back this week because there's a lot of stuff that came out this weekend. And then also my Celtic Frost discography rankings coming out this week. And then after that, I'm doing the Make Me Choose Between Two Albums video. You motherfuckers. You guys insist on torturing my brain, don't you?
Maybe.
And then, of course, after that, I got the Morbid Angel discography ranking. That will be out like mid to late May. And, of course, album reviews, podcasts, and all that stuff. I'm hoping for the next Horseman podcast, which I'm hoping to aim for next week. We'll get James from Hell Ripper on the show for the top 10 first wave / proto black metal albums video or episode and other shit here and there, too. And then, of course, you can follow me on Twitch and subscribe to me on Twitch at ThrashManiac99. And finally, follow me on Instagram at ThrashManiac_YT. Because my old Instagram got shut down for absolutely nothing. I never posted on there. What the fuck? But I digress. But anyways, for Terry Funk, I say thank you, jackasses, for tuning in to the Shadow Kvlt. And hopefully the real Terry will be back next week to ruin all your lives.
Jackass.